Greetings and welcome back. I hope that you guys are all enjoying your own various quarantines wherever you happen to be at. And today we wanted to get into a more Linuxy topic, and so we're going to be talking about desktop environments because I was like, what do we want to talk about? I thought about doing silly news because there's some Verge article about the debate between hot dogs being sandwiches or not, and then I'm just like, whatever. The Verge is there. Of course, I'm going to start calling Ars Technica Farce Technica because holy crap, some of the crap coming through their lines too. It's just kind of exciting. And so, yeah, go for it. I'm going to go with a broth sauce. I mean, anyway, Oh, I don't know. Stew. There you go. There you go. There you go. I'm trying to make up some joke off the spur of the moment about udders, but it utterly went bad in my mind. so, of course,
Mr.
I'm
Johnson,
sorry.
your
You,
wife's
you
life
guys were
depends
you
on it.
guys were muted. My apologies. Hey guys, I'm sorry. You guys hilariously missed Pizza's whole fun joke, and I'm sorry about that because I forgot to
Here, can
unmute
I
you
say it
guys.
again?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Since they missed it.
Okay, so if when you pour milk into cereal, is it then a broth, sauce, or a beverage? Answer quickly, Mr. Johnson. Your wife's life depends on it.
Oh boy, oh boy. Mr. Johnson's life depends on something. Oh boy, sorry.
Wife's
Johnsons
life.
and Johnson.
Yeah. Of course we got Tex over here in quarantine. What is that hashtag alone together or something like that?
Yeah, I've seen that going
And
around.
and you I mean hold them up, stick them up, man, stick them up. There you go. And you had to go to
Good,
work like
man.
this, right?
Ready to go.
You had to go to work like that, right?
Yep.
Ready to
I'm
CS
so, I'm
go.
so
Human malware is nothing on me.
I'm so lucky that I work at home and have done so for a long time. Although half of my clients though they're not working at all, and so my income's went. So we'll see how long I last.
Mm,
Still got Patreon supporters.
Yeah, I do.
What
I have a
works.
couple patron supporters. Between you guys and YouTube, we almost have rent. Oh boy, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Anyway, how's it going there, everybody? We got Conchi Hito. How's it going there? This says GNOME on desktop, XFCE on laptop. All right. Shelko says start using LXDE, switch to XFCE. Finally ended up on KDE. You just like letter soup, don't you? And can't stand the wasted screen space on GNOME. GNOME doesn't really have a lot of wasted screen space. Although Pizza had a theory on that. It's the Awada theme.
It's Wada because the Wada has big buttons.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's like it's made for touchscreen.
Oh, okay. But why? Why GNOME's not good for any device that supports touchscreen?
mm.
Although it's getting better now. It's getting better now.
I debate that actually. I have a VNC server set up, so when I'm doing graphic design, which I just started back up for, I'm trading CS:GO items for graphic design, and so I use my iPad with a stylus connected to VNC as sort of a makeshift drawing tablet because mine's broken right now. So, and GNOME's a pretty decent desktop for that. I probably wouldn't have a good experience if I tried to use XFCE.
All right. Let's see. Blue says the lives happen to be the times when you sleep. Yeah, my apologies. I do actually still work in the middle of the day, but I do have a 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays. You can catch that one. All right, Bob Landers has XFCE. Greetings, Linux Daily, i3 gaps, and AWM. Vince did say he should jump on. He'll be a little bit late, and he can talk a little bit about i3, which is good because we got like two guys on Cinnamon, a GNOME, a Mac user right now. So we're just gonna have to ban that Mac. No kidding. All right, but anyway.
No, but I have
No.
something else too.
Oh,
that
that's
a lot
right.
of
He
people don't
does
know.
have something else. So he's going to make up with a mystery DE.
Mm.
All right, let's see. Matea's quite good. Let's see.
Wait.
Neo, how's it going there? Greetings.
Certain
to you.
desktops just work best with certain distros. Like I like Mate a lot, but I only like it with Ubuntu.
I completely agree on that. Like KDE, only Manjaro KDE and Kubuntu have good KDE builds. All of them, every other build is super buggy, including standard Arch. I don't know how Manjaro does it.
Mm.
All right. Yeah, let's see. Mitchell, how's it going there? Cooking dinner and watching. Very good. Very good. I mean, with everybody stuck inside, should I cut back a video or two a week on Switch to Linux to re-upload more videos on home cooking hacks? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, why
that would-
not?
I'll think about that.
Yeah, honestly.
I might, if I do anything though, I might unfortunately drop that Saturday stream that I just talked about. But I don't know. But I mean, being said I did work from home, I could actually do one of the other streams earlier in the day. So like I could do Distro Wars early. I mean, we could test that out, something like that. I don't know. We'll think about it. I do have footage for ham and bean soup. I have mastered. I think I already did the caramel sauce. I've been working on a butterscotch recipe, but I cannot get it perfected yet. A few other odds and ends as well. I've done some soft pretzel experimentations that is a private video. Patron supporters have seen it at some point in time. Greetings there, Vince. How's it going there? All right, let's see. All DEs look great except MS Windows. There you go.
I disagree.
Yeah. Why's that? Do you
actually
think MS Windows looks good, or do you think it's just other desktops that suck?
Both.
Okay.
I think Windows looks okay. It's still not my favorite, but I do like the block look of it. However, some desktops like XFC, I'm talking about out of the box. Out of the box, only two good-looking desktops that are actually usable out of the box in terms of looks are GNOME and KDE. XFCE has really bad defaults. Mate has bad defaults. Of course, if you take in actual distros into consideration where they customize their desktops, those can look good. Although XFCE still doesn't usually look good, in my opinion, unless it's Zorin OS. But still.
Yeah, it's like Budgie. For me, Budgie only works good for me in Solus, and that's it.
And Ubuntu, for me.
I don't like the Ubuntu version.
No, I actually do like. I do actually like what Mint does with Cinnamon out of the box. Although I do change it, but I do.
It's a flagship desktop.
Yeah.
GNOME only works good on Ubuntu if you install stock GNOME on Ubuntu and Fedora.
Yeah.
Those are the only two distros where GNOME works
What about Debian?
I think
Debian runs an older version of GNOME that is super unoptimized in comparison to the newer versions because they optimized a bunch of stuff in 3.34, 3.32, and 3.36, and Debian ships 3.30.
It's the very same way with Cinnamon. It's the same way with Cinnamon on Debian too. It's just buggier than all can be, and it's very old.
Yeah. I think that every desktop environment on Debian looks ugly out of the box.
Yes,
like every one of them is horrible.
I can agree on that.
But to flip around,
KDE and GNOME.
I don't know. I think that even those look ugly. But you can do something with them. But if you look at Manjaro, nearly every desktop environment looks awesome out of the box on Manjaro. So that's very interesting. So how's it going there, Vince?
Hey guys, you hear me okay?
You finally made it. Yeah, how's it going, man?
I made it. Yay. I'll tell you what, it's my day off today because it's Good Friday.
Oh, nice.
So I finally got to make it. I've had a change in work schedule, so it's been difficult for me to make these streams.
Yeah.
It's hard to wrap your head around. He's already into Good Friday.
Yeah, because time traveler there, because we're all stuck in Thursday.
Wow, I just forgot about time zones.
Wait. You live in the future? Why didn't you warn us about 9/11?
Or this virus? Come on, Vince.
Come on, Vince.
I'm only like maybe a day ahead.
All right.
Yeah, had a whole day.
But he did warn us about the big toilet paper scare. And
yes,
I did, didn't I?
He did. And okay, guys, we gotta get the update. Can you find toilet paper in your town? Yes or no? Quickly.
No.
The problem is in Australia, we're hardly ahead of the curve. So I mean, we're usually behind a lot of things. My wife did get toilet paper the other week, and it cost her $8 for 6 rolls.
Ouch!
All right. All right, Dan. Yes or no? Toilet paper in your town?
I haven't been able to find any on any shelves, but I do have a stash I bought before all this went down.
See, I mean, it's a common thing. Even, I mean, if I don't need it, there's certain aisles I walk by in every time I go to the grocery store now because I just got to know because I'm checking the numbers. It's going to be the where is the hysteria at? Pizza, toilet paper in your town or not? Do you even know?
Well, two people bought all of the toilet paper in like every store, and they're trying to sell it at a crazy high markup. Like, there's this guy, Rob's delivery service. He charges like $10 for one roll. It's insane.
Oh boy.
Isn't
Tech.
that gouging? I mean, it's illegal, isn't it? If you go to CVS first thing in the morning, they'll let you buy 1 pack, and that's it.
Okay. All right.
So
Vince.
you don't have CVS.
Yeah, Vince, you said yes or no?
Yeah, we got some, but on that price gouging thing, Tech, they've made some rules about that here. So you're not allowed to charge more than 20% more than what the typical price normally is, where we are anyway.
Government approved price.
Yeah,
gouging,
there are some laws, but they differ from state to state. World, do you have toilet paper in your town?
Yeah, it's definitely fine because we actually have a toilet paper manufacturer right in our town. Which
nice. You're running the backdoor deals. You're knocking on the back of the factory, slipping some cash, and you're running back. Yeah. We're hit and miss. Our Walmart almost always has that really scratchy Scott stuff. Like you only buy it if you have to. It usually has that. Wegmans has some last time I was in there, but most places it's out. But there is somebody in a neighborhood around here that actually has a plastic bin in their front yard with single rolls of toilet paper with a note, take a toilet paper if you need one. So yay for good news.
Yeah, here's the really punchline. Cool. Punchline is I'm walking in the grocery store and there's no toilet paper. I go down the aisle full of Bush's baked beans with a sign on it, 2 per customer only.
Yeah. Well, stop buying all the beans. You won't need it. So,
That's the punchline.
Yeah. Mitchell says no TP in his town. Hama says yes TP in their town. Let's see.
Would you accept free toilet paper from someone who has a Ring doorbell?
No.
No.
Okay.
I would desperate enough, maybe.
Okay, if you could literally never find toilet paper ever, anywhere, would you do it?
No. I have a shower right next to the toilet.
Showers, and I have a lake behind my house. I'm good.
We still have lots of corn cobs around here.
That's right. In fact, farmer where I get my milk, I get my milk and eggs from a farmer. He's now selling corn husk.
Yeah.
Okay, boomer to Dan.
Yeah.
There's always coffee filters.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, there's a few other things. Let's
able to find
sunglasses.
Let's go ahead and for now we'll steer back to desktop environments and then we'll come back to this crazy nonsense at the end.
Yeah.
All right. So Dan, you're on Cinnamon. You said right?
Yes.
All right. So hold on. I had a list of questions here. I wanted to go through this list of fun questions. I forgot to pull it up.
I'm ready.
All right. So question number 1, Dan. Which do you use? Cinnamon. All right. Why do you use Cinnamon?
Well, probably because of its simplicity. It's everything in it seems to be in its right spot, and it doesn't mislead you in things like KDE does. If you go and you go in the settings and it says panel, you're going to find most of your panel junk in panel. I mean, it's very simple. You get a panel, you get a menu, you get a display manager, and you get a settings suite. And then that's really all you need. It's more about running the software than it is bling.
Yep. Okay. Very good. What are your complaints?
What are my complaints? I really don't have any.
Okay.
Because I use the desktop environment for just that, a desktop environment. It lets me access the stuff underneath that I need to do stuff like do this video talk on Hangouts. I mean, it's a means to get to the real meat that does the work. And that's, I haven't had anything that really has fruited out on this version of Cinnamon that's on LMDE Debbie. So For some reason, the good people at Mint had managed to merge this together with Debian and make it. And you can't tell really that it's Debian from the GUI part of it.
Yeah,
I mean, it looks
is
and works
amazing.
just like Linux Mint, their flagship edition.
All right, Quantum Alpha's over on Discord, says hello. Greetings, Quantum Alpha. All right, do you care about customization? And if so, is it easy to customize?
It is easy to customize. Back to complaints. One complaint that I do have about it is it doesn't come with a manager to manage dual monitor wallpapers. So you have to install Nitrogen.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. But other than that, what was the original? What was the question? I forgot.
I think it was like, do you care about customization and how easy is it? To
a little
customize?
bit. I like to have dual wallpapers that at least match. Sometimes I can find a really long one that'll cover both screens. But as far as customizing with Cinnamon, yeah, I got all my important communication stuff down next to the menu button on the panel, and it all stays locked there with no problems. And wallpaper, and like with icons, I like to have my home icon, my computer icon, and my trash bucket on my monitor. Back to the settings again. This is where they make it simple. When you click these things on to show these icons, then it asks you, then it's got a box so you can select which monitor do you want them on. Not all desktops are like that. That'll let you just say, oh, I want it on the left one. It'll move all the icons all the way to the left.
Okay. All right.
So
very good. All right. Quick question for World of Linux. Do you really have police officers on horses up there?
No, not at all. It's only on special occasions, I guess.
Special occasions. Okay. So you just still call them Mounties or not?
But,
Okay.
but it doesn't happen normally.
All right. Very good. All right. Pizza, you said you are on GNOME, right?
Yep.
All right. So why do you use GNOME?
Because I really like its workflow, and it's one of those. It's really simple. A lot of people do complain that I like how it doesn't have that much extra functionality that I don't use. So the only thing I have to do is get case status, and then I have a perfect desktop for me. With I don't even use dash to dock because GNOME, its workflow is so unique that you kind of have to ease into it. You can't go cold turkey on it. You can't just switch to it and you're going to be used to it. What you have to do is first you have to use it with dash to dock, and until you get used to that, and then once you get used to that setup, you can kind of get rid of dash to dock and start using it stock. So it is sort of a workflow that you have to ease into. I feel like you can't just switch to it and expect you to like it. But once you do get used to it, you'll probably get your work done way faster. Like even with two monitors, it's the only desktop where I actually use workspaces, even though I have two monitors. And a lot of people say that you can recreate the workflow on other desktops, but it's just not as polished. GNOME is super polished. Everything works the same. It's very easy to figure out how to use new GNOME applications you've never used before. Whereas in KDE and XFCE and all the others, there's a lot of they don't really use one design for all the UI. KDE technically has their own design, their own design framework or whatever. But let's be real, they don't use it. So people do complain that there isn't that much functionality, but and that you have to use extensions to get a lot of functionality. But also, does Chromium have that much functionality, or do you have to get extensions on Chromium? And nobody complains about getting extensions on Chromium.
I don't use extensions on
Well, let me
pretty much
ask you
anything.
this. Is the functionality controlled by hotkeys?
Well, what's nice is people say it's a very keyboard-driven desktop, but if you it's really only keyboard-driven if you're on like a trackpad or something. If you have an actual mouse for your computer, it can be fully navigatable by mouse.
I find it to be very annoying to navigate it by mouse, though. I hate it.
Yeah, I disagree because you just have to get used to that hot corner on the top left. You just hit that hot corner, you get everything, all your applications, your dashboard.
It still takes a lot more, though, to do. So it's not just the hot corner, because you have to hit the hot corner and then go navigate to the portion of the screen that you need. But if you know the keyboard shortcuts, it's way faster and more efficient to run with.
It's I don't use just mouse exclusively, and I don't use just keyboard exclusively. I use both. So what I do is if I need to access my what's it called, the overview, where I scatters out all my programs and I can select that. I use the mouse to do that. But then if I need to launch an application, I hit the super key to get super key and A in order to launch the application thing. And a lot of the times I don't even need to launch the application, because once I get to the overview, I can just start typing and it will start searching for the application. So then I just type and hit enter.
Yeah.
So
what are your complaints?
I have 2 complaints. One, K-status is the only essential extension that you have to install in order to make GNOME usable. K-status, I can completely use almost stock GNOME. I just need that K-status extension. That's my issue with GNOME. It's that it doesn't have those indicators out of the box. And I do wish it had a little bit more RAM usage, although I'm not complaining, because even though it doesn't have that much RAM usage, GNOME 3.36 just feels super fast, even though it eats up all the RAM. Like, I will say GNOME 3.30 and 3.28 did not feel that fast. They felt pretty sluggish. However, 3.32 sort of changed that. 3.32 is when they made it usable in terms of how fast it is. And 3.34 was just really fast, and 3.36 is just super fast. It feels more snappy to me than KDE does now.
Yeah,
they've
definitely
optimized it so much.
And I think we covered customization on it. It's very easy to customize with extensions.
You just have to, people say it's difficult to customize. Is clicking install on an extension difficult?
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty easy. I mean, if your distro doesn't have the ability it doesn't have the single click extension install, and you have to set it up manually, that's a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
But some distros do that, some distros don't.
Yeah, and I do think I do have a certain vision for GNOME that I don't run GNOME though, so I can't do my vision until I finish Border OS.
Yeah.
Because
we'll cover that one another time, so I can get there.
I know.
Else, right?
I'm just saying GNOME isn't what everyone wants out of a desktop, but for me, it's the perfect desktop once you get used to it.
Yeah, then it definitely has valid points once you get there. Tech, what are you running? We didn't get a chance to ask you what you're running yet.
I'm running Pop! OS on my primary workstation.
And I'm very sad that you took off your mask. I mean, not kidding.
Sorry. It was getting old, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's hot.
Yeah.
I like Pop! OS, and I think its default is pretty solid. The fact that it's not as customizable as like GNOME on Fedora out of the box, like you can put GNOME tweaks on here and get a lot out of it. But I think I run dash to dock only is the only extension I run on it, and I have all the corners turned off because I cannot stay in the corners. So I have the super key to get the overview, what Apple calls expose, because it looks so much like that. So like my brain works that way. I'm 100% okay with like stock GNOME on Pop! OS.
Okay, all right. And let's see, why do you use it? I guess maybe did we kind of already cover that, or do you want to have
Came
anything?
in the box, if you will.
There you go. I use it because it's there.
I don't like KDE at all. I tell you that. I really don't like KDE. So
I agree.
I'm totally okay with this.
When you get to the end, I gotta talk to Tech about his Blue Yeti.
All right. What are your complaints?
I don't really know that I have any major complaints for the interface. Without dash to dock, GNOME becomes really difficult to use. Like, it is so hard to do like taskbar window management. Like, I hate that you have to go like hit the start menu or go to activities and then use the bar on the side. That drives me nuts. I really can't stand that. So there are. I think that there's something to the saying that in order to make GNOME usable, you have to have extensions, because I have one. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't like extensions in pretty much anything. I mean, hey, I was a classic WordPress developer. If you want to make WordPress run really horrible, start putting plugins in it. And I think the same thing is going to happen for like GNOME's. Like, hey, we have a basic thing with some basic core functionality. You need to add a bunch of stuff. Like, no, I've been scarred from plugins.
God,
Even if, even as I'm doing some Joomla work right now, it's like, no, I am not downloading an extension, a mod, or anything else unless I absolutely have no other option. I am building them. Thank you. So yeah, I get that. Vince, you're on I3, you said, right? Vince?
Oh, hang on.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Yep. Okay. I was muted. Yeah, i3. And actually, you guys are talking about GNOME. If I was to say which DE is closest to a window manager, I'd actually say surprisingly GNOME would be, because I remember you did a video once, Tom, about how you should be using GNOME more as a keyboard-driven DE, because it's sort of designed that way. It's designed so that you're not necessarily trying to switch tasks with a taskbar or a dash or a dock or whatever. You're supposed to be using well, this is my opinion anyway. Overview and putting different tasks on different desktops, so that you can then switch quickly between them with the keyboards. I think it's like Control Alt page down or something like that.
Yeah, it's Control Alt up and down arrows. Yeah.
Yeah, up and down. Yeah. Just like
It's Control Alt up and down arrows, not page down.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think page down is when you're already in the overview. I think then you can page up and down to look at the different desktops. But I use i3 because, well, initially I started using it on my laptop because I just hated using the touchpad, and I didn't want to keep going back and forth from the touchpad to the keyboard. And something like a tiling window manager allows you to just switch windows, resize windows, open up apps without even leaving the keyboard. So it just made it more efficient. And because of the screen real estate on a laptop, I'm used to also, if I'm on a desktop, I've got a dual screen going. So on a laptop, I need to be able to just move things away from a desktop and stick them on another one and quickly switch back and forth. I would say that the i3 is definitely not for a new user, so please don't try it if you're new, because to get it going well, like it's got not a lot to use. To set your network, for example, to set your volume even, for example, you kind of got to know some command line commands to be able to set stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we also covered in there, why do you use it? What are your complaints?
It's hard for me to pick up too many because I've been using it for such a long time now, and I've kind of gotten over anything that was sort of a bit of a doorstop to me. I'd say probably that it's Spartan looking. I mean, I use i3 blocks as the panel or bar or whatever it is. All it is, it's very simple text. You can put little icons in there. But you can still theme it out a little bit. There are people on the, Reddit who have lots of really cool theming things done to it. I'm not usually generally a theming sort of guy anyway, so that doesn't worry me too much.
Yeah.
You've got to know. I mentioned the command. You've got to know the commands to use to set volume and stuff. There is a way you can get a volume icon on there, but then that just sort of adds to the bloat, if so to speak. And you've got to be comfortable editing a config file and saving that, and it's pretty stable. I've hardly had any crashes, so good. I'm pretty happy with it.
So once you get used to the config file, you'd say customization is easy, but it takes a while, a little bit of a learning curve to get there, right?
Yeah, as soon as you realize how the config file works, and you know some commands, for example, setting your dual monitor up, you'll need to know how to use X, R, and R. But once you know that, like it's fairly easy, but I wouldn't say it's easy.
Okay, very good. Any final words before we jump over to World?
Nope.
All right.
Next.
World, what do you got? You're running. You said you're running Mac, aren't you?
Well,
Kick this guy.
it's kind of a combination.
No.
So, really, I tried all of the desktop environments. So, GNOME, KDE, XFCE, ELXD, ELXQT, a lot of other desktop environments that I couldn't even think of. I guess there's some that I kind of skipped, like, I don't know really other window managers, but I tried all of them just to see what I liked, and I always leaned towards KDE and GNOME, kind of, but usually KDE. But then what I found with KDE is that it had way too much customizability, at least for my taste. So I still didn't want to go with GNOME because I didn't like completely interface and how it looked, and I still like KDE more. And I was able to customize it and everything. So instead, what I did is I use a program called Synergy. Like, I don't know if you know that, but it shares your mouse and keyboard. So I can actually connect my Mac to my other computers and everything and share only one mouse and keyboard. So instead of just constantly fighting on which desktop environment that I need, I just connected my Mac. So now it's like one whole computer, so I can just switch over to KDE very easily. But I also have another desktop environment, which is something that you never heard of, and it's called the Mac's desktop environment, which is very different. It's not Mac. It's not anything. It's just another window manager that is like very efficient, and I like it, and it's super simple, which is why that I chose it. But on my other computers, I use KDE, and on my main computer, I use that desktop environment just because that everything's so simple and it's lightweight and stuff.
Very good.
I guess the only complaints that I have about that desktop environment is there's still a lot of features that are missing because it's kind of in development, and it's definitely not for new users. You have to know how to install it and stuff.
And what distro are you using that on?
Dev1, actually.
Dev1. Okay.
So,
Dev1 guy.
you know
Very
what
cool.
it is, yeah.
Yep. All right. Very good. I think I've probably covered all of the reasons why I use Cinnamon in the past. So I guess we got a little bit more free time so we can look at the comments and chat back and forth about some of the other things. So let's kind of let the audience direct some conversation for a bit. If anyone wants to jump in and say something specifically, go ahead and do that.
Well, it's Corona time.
Oh boy, is it Corona time? It's Corona time, people. Oh boy.
I wanted to bring up something to Tech. His Blue Yeti, I believe, is backwards.
What's that?
He's turn it around. The microphones are on that side.
Yeah, which is towards you. It should be towards my mouth.
The microphones are on the side that have the Yeti, the blue label.
Oh, I think he's right. Yeah, it's directional. So if you
I got the
turn it
manual
around
right here.
and try and talk into it.
I wish I could afford one of those.
Hold on.
I just have to do.
This has been a common thing going around.
Like this, so the button should be that way facing.
Yeah,
you.
the button should be facing the back. See how like mine is?
Yeah.
I mean, can y'all not hear me when I have it the other way?
No, it's
You-
No, we
Actually
can
sounds
hear
better.
you. Now you
Yeah.
sound really
Oh.
clear with it that way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It sounds much more like you.
It's weird that the volume buttons and stuff would be away from you though.
Yeah, and the
really-
microphone's not at the top. It's at the side where the blue logo is.
Yeah.
That's weird because, like, I mean, the mute button though is like under the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they're weird
Yeah.
beasts.
so if you had the Meteor mic, of course, it looks nice and stylish and stuff, but the back looks the same. There's no microphone back there. The Meteor mic, it's up in the front there.
Yeah.
Of course, here's
I
your
really
mute
need,
button, easy to access, you know.
I really need a actual microphone. I'm only using the one that's built in, but I definitely have to have some sort of setup because I got a whole bunch of monitors and everything. I think it's time for me to actually have a microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's in
get there.
stereo.
Uh,
Mine's in stereo mode, but the stereo's going to be reversed because I have it hanging upside down.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, no. Mitchell says likes XFCE, but XFCE needs to cut the fat a bit. Okay. Yeah, XFCE is not bad.
Yeah.
How do you get KDE on Farron OS? Install the DE afterwards. I wish Farron were here. He'd be able to answer that.
Farron
Okay.
OS. Well, is it KDE that's already installed, but it's like customized? Like the
Yeah.
newer version?
The new version of Farron OS is already Plasma. It's already
Yeah.
KDE. So, yeah, that one's good.
We heard the voice of Farron OS the other day on Steve's very own.
Oh wow.
He joined us on
wow.
stream. Yeah, go check it out. It was his Sunday morning stream, and Farron joined us.
That's cool.
Uh,
What's is it like? Is it was it mythical? Was it just like amazing?
I was shocked when he joined us. And when you hear his voice, you might be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
He's talked on my Discord server too.
I'm
That's
wondering.
cool.
I think he was on mine at one point in time. I can't remember.
It's the quarantine effect. It's calling people to reach out.
Yeah.
I think he was on. I thought he was on your server too, and then I asked him if he was ever on your server, and he denied it. So I don't know.
I know he's on my server. I just don't know if he's been on voice chatting.
Oh, I've never seen him voice chat on your server.
Yeah, maybe he hasn't. No, actually, I did see a report. Phone calls are going way up again because people are just anxious to hear from their friends without without reading text messages and stuff. Which makes sense. Let's see. Farron used to be yes. Farron used to be based on Cinnamon. So.
yeah.
Okay.
Look, there he is. Farron's just joined us.
Hey, Farron's joined us here. People are talking about your stuff there, man. I'm not to your comment yet,
Yeah.
so hi.
Wait, did he?
Is
he in the chat or stream?
What is he? Is he like I think he converted to God mode. He knew we were talking about him, and he just showed it up. What's going on?
He's normally everywhere anyway.
Yeah,
Farron asked how to join the call.
It's not.
You have to be a patron, right?
Should we let him on?
Yeah, let's let him on.
Yeah, let him
Oh
on.
boy.
Here, I'll send him the link. I'll send him the link.
Oh, you'll send it. Okay, I was gonna say I have him right here too.
Just
All right,
a random thought. What I do hate about Apple is my dad does repair some computers and stuff, and we had a MacBook Air which got water spilled on it, and it kind of caused some weird battery issues. It still works, but now it's just really weird, and the way that Apple does things. Apparently, also my dad is kind of an electronics engineer, and he saw the board work and how it looked inside, and he said it was terrible. Like the soldering joints and everything, and how it's made is low quality.
He should watch some Louis Rossman, and he would have known that without having to open it up.
I already told him about that, and he definitely.
Of course, that'll turn him off from Apple. So
Yeah, he's already turned off from Apple. The only reason that I even got Apple is because of college and everything like that. I still have to use applications, and I definitely don't want to use Windows.
Normie apps. You have to use normie apps.
Yeah, like Microsoft Teams, which we use. Yeah.
Yeah, of the two, I mean, if someone's like, you absolutely have to, then I would. I mean, I'd use. I don't know. Somebody asked me that the other day, and I still don't have a good answer. Like, Apple is definitely better for privacy than Windows, but Windows definitely has a better UI for work, the way I work anyway. Ooh,
Yeah.
Vince says, think sheep.
Hold on.
DT jumped in. Desktop environments are bloat. Well, DT, Vince was talking at i3. So.
I just watched his minimal browser video, and I'm sitting here going, "There's no way that my brain could ever work that way."
Did you guys see? Firefox changed their URL bar, so it's now kind of like the Edge URL bar. It's like, why Firefox? I got a chance to play with it. I was working with. I was actually trying to put together how to upgrade LibreOffice for somebody, and it's running into some issues, and. so I had to boot up Firefox to look something up over there, and it has the new version on there. I'm like, oh god, that is horrendous.
Wait, what have they changed?
The URL bar. So it's like an autofill search stuff. It behaves very much more like the Edge URL bar.
Oh.
You know, it's just like
Yeah.
if you have a look at a recently updated Firefox, have a look at it. It just makes you want to go jump off a cliff or something. Makes you want to
can't
go
say I
break
noticed any
quarantine and
difference.
have a Corona party. Anyway.
So I'm gonna be sharing for a few seconds my screen to just show how the Mac desktop environment looks
Okay.
like.
Yeah, go for it. I don't have a way to zoom you in on my end.
I'm on my Mac, but if you can see it, like it's just a picture, but this is actually how it looks like.
I can't see it.
Yeah,
if you can-
curious.
Can't see it. Sorry.
So if you can even see.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
it
no,
in
I
the
think
little side,
even-
but all we
well-
see is your logo on the larger side.
I say thumbnail, nothing else. Sorry.
Oh,
Not muted.
That
I
microphone
think it's
sounds
just
great
because
now.
that.
There it is.
Dan.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think it's just because that my internet connection is still slow.
Yeah, we could see it for just a
Okay,
little, couple seconds.
Mine
Yeah.
was out for 4 days last week.
Yeah.
Oh, but I heard that all of the internets are working perfectly fine because everyone's working from home. Come on.
No issues.
No,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
out for 4 days. It included both Comcast and Frontier and any other cable provider. A major hub component blew out.
Oof.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Was it Verizon, I think, stopped setting up internet for people? They're like, oh, if your internet's down, we won't fix it until after this all blows over. It's like morons. Everybody's working from home right now. Which
Well, it turns
Yeah.
out some of these parts, when they get used at nearly 100%, get extremely hot.
yes.
And then they fail. And the
Yes.
only place they make them is in Taiwan.
Well, it's not in China, but still.
Don't tell that to China. They
Yeah,
didn't
it
get-
depends who you ask.
Yeah.
It's a very touchy subject.
Well,
One
that's what
country
my
keeps it out.
ISP told me.
Jeffrey Klein, what desktop environments do you recommend that are more fleshed out and set up after a fresh install for somebody, but only needs to use it to surf the net and store files with NVIDIA support? How's NVIDIA support on Manjaro? Because Manjaro has the best overall desktop environment theming out of the box and setup out of the box. So how are they with NVIDIA though? Anybody know?
Not a clue.
Not on Manjaro. I know that I definitely do use an NVIDIA graphics card. Well, a GeForce 9 GTX 950 on Dev1, and I had to install the drivers manually from NVIDIA's website, but
Yeah.
it works really well because I'm actually able to use Proton, Steam's Proton, to run Windows games, and it runs really
Yeah.
well. Configured it properly.
DT says he's weird. He loves Starbucks, but doesn't own a MacBook. I just feel like out of place where my latte. See, I'm thinking like if once this thing passes over, I might actually go to Starbucks and take my Mac with me just for fun. I don't know. I'll go
My
be a
dad-
normie. While I'm there, I might pierce my ear along the way and get a tattoo. You know.
Yeah, my dad also made a joke about that. You know, we were right next to Starbucks, and then you just said that, and I just laughed. Just because of how ridiculous
Yeah.
it is. I might actually do it, though.
Yeah, as a coffee connoisseur though, I hate Starbucks because they do not know how to make a cup of coffee.
No, they don't.
Which is
It tastes
funny
like
because
motor oil.
if you buy their beans and make it yourself, it is some of the best coffee you will ever have. But if you go to the store and get coffee, it is nasty. So like I like their mochos and things if I want to spend literally over $5 for a drink. But it's
I'm too cheap to spend $5 for a coffee.
I know. And I mean, I have a cappuccino machine. I know how to make caramel syrup. I can make a caramel macchiato that puts Starbucks to shame.
Well, I don't really drink coffee that much, so honestly, I definitely don't go to Starbucks. It's usually about either hot chocolates or something else that they have. But
It-
yeah,
I'll tell
they
you,
have lots of stuff.
I'll tell you a couple things. Like one thing, I think the best thing Starbucks has on the menu is their vanilla frappe, like a vanilla bean frappe. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I like their frappuccinos that are like smoothies.
Irish coffee is best. Can't really get that in drive-through though. I've had some of that. Manjaro has its own custom driver installer scripts, and NVIDIA works great on Manjaro. Okay, so yeah, for Manjaro, best out of the box experience, I'd probably go with Manjaro then. All right. Okay, let's see. Farron says he's freeing up some resources, and then he'll jump on. All right. Okay, no, not many people wonder how many complain. Let's see. Triple espresso is the way to go. There you go. Then you're up the rest of the week. Yeah, of course, our Wegmans, back to Corona time, our Wegmans doesn't have our bulk food section anymore, which is so sad because I can't get my bridge mix and add a bunch of chocolate-covered coffee beans in there. Oh, that's my favorite thing. Chocolate-covered coffee beans. But you eat more than like 10 of them and you're wired for, for hours. Like, Cafe Americano. There you go. All right. As a motorcycle rider, some of the most dangerous areas to ride near are Starbucks. The ladies and SUVs are crazy when they're jonesing.
Now we're doing jokes and
Lordy. Well, I mean, if we want to talk about jokes, we can bring up that Verge article and have a discussion amongst us. What do you guys think? Is a hot dog a sandwich or not?
Yes.
God.
No.
No.
All right, we have some no's,
No.
we have some yeses. Pizza, you said yes. State your
Well,
case.
Wait, so do you need
well,
meat
a
or
sandwich. Well, a lot of buns can fall apart into 2 pieces of bread, and that's a sandwich.
Okay. All right. Who said
Yeah.
no? State your case.
I said no. It's not because you have to have they have to have 2 pieces of bread. Okay, so a hot dog bun out of the box is 1 piece of bread. You can say a burger is a sandwich, but you can't say a hot dog is a sandwich.
Okay. All right. How's it going there, Farron?
Hey,
You're
Farron.
muted right now, but we'll jump on in when you.
Hi,
Hey,
bud.
how's it
Hey,
going?
Farron.
There, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, so we are discussing this fundamental, absolutely most important Linux question ever: is a hot dog a sandwich? Because hey, The Verge covered it, and we're all getting stir crazy for being quarantined.
oh boy.
Yeah, it's like what you jump into.
I mean, you guys use the word sandwich too liberally, I've got to say. A sandwich is 2 square pieces of bread with a filling. Anything else is not. Because, I mean, do I understand that you call a sub a sandwich as well?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
It's not a
yes
sandwich.
and no. Yes and no.
Yes, it is. It is a
Oh
sandwich.
god.
Oh, if we're calling a sub a sandwich, which honestly I have to say that is a thing, then that completely wins the pizza's yes argument, because really, what's the difference between a sub and a hot dog?
Philly
Yeah.
cheesesteak
you have to break
sandwiches,
bread.
you know,
You have to break.
breaking the line.
You know, I feel like
the
I'm being
origin of
lied
the
to
word-
here.
What's that, Farron?
The origin of the word sandwich is British, so we need to ask the
All right, Farron. What's your thoughts?
British person.
You know, I feel like I'm being lied to here with the name sandwich. There's no sand in it.
And there's no witches around it, so.
Mm.
No, there was a Lord Sandwich who invented the sandwich.
What?
Do we have to look this up?
Lord
This sounds fascinating.
Sandwich.
I've just pulled this out of the recesses of my brain. Look up Lord Sandwich. Or Earl sorry, it's Earl of Sandwich.
Oh boy.
I don't know why I know this, but I know this.
Earl of Sandwich.
We don't know why you know this either.
Come on. All right, here it is. Here's a Wikipedia. Are we okay with Wikipedia for the day?
Yeah.
All right, so
have to
Earl
do
of Sandwich. Earl of Sandwich is the
Super
noble
accurate.
title in peerage of is it peerage of England? Whatever that is. Held since its creation by the House of Montague. It is the nominally associated with Sandwich, Kent. It was created in 1660 for the prominent naval commander, Admiral Sir Edward Montague. He was Baron Montague. Okay, let's see. There is a pile of these. But that doesn't. Did he come up with the idea of the sandwich though?
I am so disappointed. There's not like a sandwich wiki.
Yeah, this is just
Oh God.
okay.
Here's
So
another week.
it just says up here for the first Lord of Admirability and the Eptimus inventor of the sandwich. See, John Montague, the fourth Earl of Sandwich. This apparently is the one who made it. So legacy.
yeah.
The sandwich is his legacy. Look at this. The modern sandwich is named after Lord Sandwich, and the exact circumstances of its invention and original use are still the subject of debate. A rumor in a contemporaneous travel book called Tour to London by Pierre Jean Grosley formed the popular myth that bread and meat sustained Lord Sandwich at the gambling table, but Sandwich was made into many bad habits, including Hellfire Club. Any story may be the creation after the fact. He was a conversant gambler, the story goes, and did not take the time to have a meal during the long hours of playing at the card table. Consequently, he would ask his servants to bring him slices of meat between 2 slices of bread, a habit well known among his gambling with friends. Other people, according to this account, began to order the same as sandwich, and thus the sandwich was born. Sober alternative to the account provided by Sandwich's biographer, Rodger, who suggests that Sandwich's commitments to the Navy, politics, and the arts mean the first sandwich was more likely to have been consumed at his work desk. The original sandwich was a piece of salt beef between 2 slices of toasted bread. Okay, well, that was an interesting detour. How did we get on that?
Not enough sandwich.
Yay.
Yeah,
Sandwich
do they
all
show a fork of a sandwich?
Sandwich desktop.
That's what a
and
sub
farm
would be.
The sandwich desktop.
Sandwich
See,
desktop.
this is why we switch to food. Toss shows up. Toss, you show up and we start talking about food. What's going on? And he says
He wants
he's
a
Lord
cannoli.
Wait, was it because he showed up, or did he show up because
Okay.
we talked about food?
Hold on. Let's take this back
it's
to a
an
little
MS
bit. Let's take this back to a brief bit of seriousness again because Faranois jumped on. Let's ask you the basic questions we were asking at the beginning. So you switched to the distro to Plasma. Why did you switch to Plasma?
To be honest, it was mainly just well, at the start, it was because I was starting to get a bit worried about the direction Cinnamon was heading in relation to how adequate that will be for Faranois's customizations in the future.
Okay.
And so I ran a poll on Google Plus about it. It's like
I
asking
remember that.
it's like if I should switch to no more Plasma, and then Plasma won that big time.
Okay.
And it happened to be that during that time I was also trying Plasma as a candidate for Faranois's new desktop environment. And from there on, it just kind of snapped that, yeah, Plasma would be a great fit for Faranois.
Okay.
And
What's the downsides of Plasma in your take?
To be honest, it's mainly just the inconsistency and maybe also the
Call it.
slight complexity in some of the system settings areas.
Okay. All right. Very good. And anything else you want to say about the Plasma, real quick?
Fortunately, the problems with the design that lead to those inconsistencies and stuff are being worked on these days
Okay.
by the official design group. And I do have a good grasp in that group, so I have been suggesting ideas and stuff for Plasma.
Good. Very good.
Hey,
Awesome.
Farron, will client-side decorations ever make its way into QT?
Qt has been actually adding client-side decoration support recently, though KDE has no plans as far as I know to add, make its apps to use that.
Tux Digital showed me a prototype they did, but for some reason they declined it.
But yeah, Q is definitely gaining CSD support soon.
Okay.
DE support?
CSD.
Oh, yeah. My issue of Q is it looks bad on every desktop that isn't KDE or LXQT. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, so it's mainly because of the fact that Fusion as a Q style looks rather meh. Fusion being the fallback Q style that gets used in Ds that don't choose a Q theme.
Oh yeah. I do notice though that what's it called? GNOME actually on Fedora actually looks good with Qt because they ship Adwaita Qt, and uh, Adwaita Qt makes it sort of integrate better with the GNOME desktop if you use Adwaita as your default theme.
Yeah, that was nice to find out. It's like, believe it or not, it's actually a fork of the Breeze Q style. From
Yeah.
what I know.
Hmm.
Shows a lot to how much it's like great a theme Breeze is to base stuff on.
Very good. Very cool. How's it going there, Simple Tech? Are you there, Simple Tech?
So apparently, my dad is using Farron OS for his computer, and he actually says that it's the best distro that he ever used, and it's better than Linux Mint.
Oh, nice.
Very cool. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be a Farron user if it used GNOME.
Oh, you and your
Oh,
gnome. You and
gosh.
your gnome. We'll flog pizza later for you. It's all right.
How about
Still, dude.
actually, I'd use Farron if it came pre-installed with CS:GO, so that I wouldn't have to install it myself.
There you go. That's probably
Well, you would have to have
Well.
Steam
Such a
and
simple man.
The ISO would only be about 30 gigabytes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
back to
Yeah, I think we
sandwiches.
might.
Linux Dabbler says a sandwich is a sandwich, but a manwich is a meal. Very good. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
My answer is no. It's not. A hot dog is not a sandwich, but I'm categorically and I'm just wrong.
All right.
Pizza's right, so
Okay.
I don't know. I'm wrong, but that's how I feel. You know what I mean?
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good.
I'm sorry.
Opening my eyes. It has to be two.
It's a
square
coin
pieces of
toss
bread
question.
With
Yeah.
I think it is. I don't think. I mean, hey, these are the things you start to ask when you're in like total quarantine. It's just like, dude, we're debating sandwiches on the Linux channel, people. This is the day is gone. I mean,
You can only talk about desktop environments so much.
I know, right? I know.
What's
no.
it? Random
Yeah, this is what they
desktop
talk
environment-
about in prison.
I love the premise of the actual topic. The desktop environments. If I was going to answer that, I'd say anything traditional. Like I like that Windows-esque type feel. You know, the traditional menu type stuff. I love Ubuntu Mate. I've been rocking it. It's been solid. I'm actually on Ubuntu Mate, the newest one now, the newest stable release, Eon Moen or whatever.
Cool. Very good.
It's
Random-
great. I highly recommend it.
Random cinnamon related question. It's like, I know this will probably sound stupid to us, but does anyone have an opinion on the fact that Cinnamon seems to have removed the ability to change the window, it's like title bar button order, it's like freely, and so it's just left or right now?
Wait, which part?
In Cinnamon settings Windows, there used to be able to granularly change the button order button by button, but in the latest Cinnamon releases, it seems now they changed that to just drop down being left being for the Mac style layout and right being for Windows style layout. So does
Yeah, I don't
anyone
know.
have an
I guess
opinion
I've
on
never
that?
noticed that.
The button and the header layout.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just took what they gave me.
Yeah.
They've been making incremental changes in Mint, and I think they need to just keep it incremental, because if they change up too much things in Mint, here's the thing: it rubs the people that have been on Mint for years and years, like me and Tom. Now I've been on and off because I've had my issues, but I have Mint on my ThinkPad and I love it. Some of the older ways that they used to do stuff I like better, and then it's kind of a mixed bag for me. But I think the developers there really need to remember they don't have to do a lot of work to Mint, because it just kind of works. Just keep the
really do.
under the hood working, and
Yeah.
don't try to change
I
too
do-
much because you turn people off.
Now, this computer I'm running here, I'm still on 18.3 with, of course, the older Cinnamon, which I do actually prefer portions of the older Cinnamon better. My new web design computer is running Cinnamon 19 or Mint 19.3, so I have the latest Cinnamon over there. and I actually like the look of the newer Cinnamon better.
Yeah.
Although I don't like the basically functionality. Like, I want to see the task list across the bottom of the taskbar. I want the icons to function as quick launch bars, not as pinned applications. So they still make it easy enough to change that around so I can get the configuration I want. So I just do that, spend a little bit of time doing that, and then everything works just fine. So I think that Cinnamon, I think they did something really rocky jumping up into the original 4, but it's been getting better again, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I have nothing really. So I have nothing really against Cinnamon personally. It's just that it's like the stuff that happened in recent time as Phoneos has grown has kind of started to deter me from Cinnamon. Mainly the stability and the fact that it almost seems like third-party support's starting to die for Cinnamon.
That's possible.
I did notice that too. A lot of, like, GNOME, for example, there's always new extensions being released, and KDE always has new applets being released, although KDE is actually starting to die too, to be honest, for extensions and stuff. But
that's because GNOME doesn't function without them.
well,
Cinnamon.
if you go to the extensions or the applets page, there's like one new extension from 2020. It really is kind of running out of extensions.
Well, I mean, going back to that original argument I made, though, earlier, looking at WordPress websites and things like this, when you start adding extensions, you start increasing the destability of the website. And, that's the challenge that I have. So for me, I've never even thought to look for extensions for Cinnamon because that has everything I need.
Though, in response to Pizza, to be fair, the main reason GNOME is probably having so much extension support recently is because they broke extension APIs multiple times in recent time.
Yeah.
So every extension pretty much broke a bunch.
Well, a lot of the extensions on the Cinnamon store also don't work on current versions of Cinnamon, so...
Yeah. Well, at least with Cinnamon, there's more of a chance that if you use an override or modify the metadata of the extension to say it does support that Cinnamon version, it will still work.
Well, you can do that with a lot of GNOME extensions also. The only extension that doesn't work with is Dash to Dock, but every other extension I've tried that doesn't work, if you edit the metadata, it does work.
You're not supposed to open the hood on Cinnamon and adjust all the stuff.
Hey, I do it all the time anyway.
I think GNOME has like the global menu. Like, I know KDE definitely has an extension with the global menu and everything, but GNOME, it's kind of a little bit harder to put that.
I think GNOME does have one, but it doesn't support Wayland, and it's a third-party one.
Yeah.
And I think it's by the guy that originally made it for Cinnamon, but then ditched it after having disagreements with the Linux Mint team.
He made what?
There was a guy that made a global menu applet in Cinnamon, but he then ended up having disagreements with the Linux Mint team because he was part of the team once back then. And so he moved it over to being a GNOME extension.
And that's how they made the global menu? Because I remember GNOME at first didn't have it.
To my understanding, I believe the latest version will be having, for Linux Mint, will be having a good global menu that works. I have a friend who's been working on building up Bungie themes to basically clone Mac themes, and that's the one thing that's been holding him up. But he says the latest version will have a functional global menu.
I tend. Personally, but... Go ahead, sir. You're fine.
No, go ahead, Simple.
You sure?
Yep.
Ron Singh in the chat, I think he's on point for the most part. But still with the 18, he said the Mint 18X releases were rock solid, especially 18.2. He's basically saying 18.04 Ubuntu Bionic Beaver was not that great of a release, and I agree with him.
Yeah, that's why I have never updated this system, because the Ubuntu 18.04 package base is not nearly as stable as the 16.04.
Yeah.
And I am
I,
finding in recent, with the incremental updates to it, my new Linux Mint 19 does appear to be
Yes.
just as stable
Much
now,
better.
but it did take a long time to get there.
It
And now we
certainly
have the
did for
20
me
coming
as
out.
well.
I will say though that 2004, they're not repeating the same mistake. They nailed 2004. I'm on
Except the whole integrating everything with snaps.
yeah, but actually they said that's a bug. They said the Snap Store thing where you can't install deb files with the Snap Store right now, that's a bug, and they're going to fix that soon. So you will be able to install apt packages and deb files from the Snap Store soon if you're on Ubuntu.
Right,
So
Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft said that too.
I
Yeah,
think-
the feature
They
not a
said
bug.
that in the plan, and so to
Yeah.
be fair, they did actually say that in the
they were.
original plan about
then,
this
then
Yeah,
let's give them a chance.
transition
Then.
it
to
doesn't-
Snap Store.
and it didn't work, and they said, and Alan Pope told me it was a bug. So
Okay, good.
hold on. So this 2004 daily builds, these are so stable. Like 1804 is more buggy than these daily builds for an unreleased distro. That's how stable it is.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Hold on a sec.
We're gonna go ahead and do our kind of end of show wrap up here, so I can hang out with these guys off camera for a little bit, and I have a stream coming up at 9.
Yeah, my battery's dying right now. Only got 5% left, and I can't really charge it because I'm using it to repair another Mac
Alright,
because I only have
then-
one charger.
Then
Oh,
give
yeah.
us your final thoughts before you die.
Well, really, there's not one answer to a desktop environment because, for the most part, people will be fine with Windows because Windows has been there for a long time. Mostly everybody knows how to use Windows. So, for the most part, Linux Mint and other type of desktop environments that look like Windows is always going to be probably the best alternative. But then some people do want some different things, and some Mac users need to have something that's Mac-like and everything, which is why I like Farron OS, because you're able to switch between Mac and Windows, and it does a really good job, right? So that's why my dad really likes it, because it's just able to change between it, and it's so easy. But for other desktop environments, it really depends on your preference. There's not one answer to it.
Yep, very
Do
good.
you like Budgie?
I already did try Budgie, and it's good, but at least for what I want a desktop environment to be, I still want it to be more customizable, and I still like KDE more.
Understandable.
Yep.
And that is super. That is the DE for customization.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, that makes sense. Everything you were saying makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Comes
Vince,
from where you're coming from.
Vince, final thoughts.
Let me a second. DT asked an interesting question a little bit a while ago. He said that what sandwich would each DE be? And I was thinking about that. I reckon my i3 would be a single piece of toast with a thin smear of Vegemite. It's not to everyone's taste, but it works for me.
All right. Let's come back to Esso's Pizza. Give us your final wrap up since you got ahead.
Yeah, so everyone has a different opinion for a desktop environment. That's the beauty of Linux, because Windows is kind of built for a general purpose OS. Linux can be a general purpose OS, but it can also be tailored to your needs perfectly, better than any other OS can be. So that's one of the huge benefits of Linux.
Yep, very good. I'm going to weigh back in on DT's question and say that the Cinnamon desktop environment is definitely a morning breakfast sandwich with toast, butter, jelly, and cinnamon. Okay. Fair enough. You have final thoughts?
So, if you want a controversial comment about what I think about it all, winky face, then, to be honest, we should probably all just focus on Plasma and GNOME.
Okay.
So that way we can then pretty much just show people the two major environments, and they won't have to be looking around so much for choice.
Okay.
basically just like what Alan Pope said about focusing on Ubuntu, but then replace Ubuntu with focusing on Plasma and GNOME. Pretty much just that reasoning. And it also means then that they get better translation support, better support in general, etc. So that the general, it's like, what we're showing new users then with those two environments is better off in the future.
All right.
If we then have more effort being put into just those two.
All right. I'll just say I'm doing my stream tonight on the other channel. Is asking this question: is this the end? In light of the crazy world going on, so that's a Christian channel. If you guys are interested in that, head on over. I dropped the link in the chat. If you're not interested, then we'll see you for the news tomorrow. Tech. Final thoughts.
I vehemently disagree with Alan Pope about the Ubuntu thing, but I'm with Pizza that use whatever works for you. It's your computer, so I'm a technology agnostic. Use what works for you. You got to be happy with yourself.
I completely agree with that 100%. I'm never going to tell somebody don't use GNOME because I personally don't like GNOME, because there's people that GNOME is for. It's just not me. But hey, I gave it a chance. I even learned how to use it the way they want you to use it before I made up my mind entirely. So. But anyway, Simple Tech, final thoughts. Maybe Simple Tech may not be there. Dan, final thoughts.
Unmute yourself.
I'm on this side with, hey, this is Linux. This is a different choice other than going to Mac or Windows. And with Linux, it's all about choice. Pick what works for you. I mean, if you like one desktop over another and it works with your workflow, by all means, use it. If there's something you don't like, then don't use it. But we have so many choices there, you know, you have to try them all to figure out which one you really like the best. And when people come over and ask me, I want to try Linux and I want to see some of the desktops and stuff, I have tons of these SSD slide-ins for my computer or a regular full-size drive. I got like 6 loaded distros here, all with different desktops, and I can show them, you know, each different one. And they can choose what they want to take home and try. Other than that, you know, choice is what it's all about.
Yep, absolutely. Simple Tech, final thoughts.
I'll try to be quick. Get to know your customers. Understand, try to get a good feel for what they're used to. Like Youngin, I can't remember your name to save my life. I'm terrible. I can't even think of your name. I'm sorry. He was saying, the guy second to last. Next
World
to
of
me.
Linux?
Yeah, World of Linux. What's up, man? What you were saying about where people are coming from, where people were coming from like a Mac or Windows desktop environment. Like if your customer is coming traditionally from Windows or Mac, I think that plays a lot into selecting the right distro for them.
Yeah.
As a technician, I can't really try everything under the sun, because if I do, they'll go running for the hills, and they're gonna. After I try Linux one time with a client, if I do a Linux migration, they're gonna want to either go back to Windows or keep it. See what I'm saying? So I guess if you're just doing it for a friend or something, it's different. But like when you're doing it in a professional environment and you're trying to word of Linux out there, it's hard. Where are they coming from and what's going to work for them? So it's a bit of a mix. I agree with bits and pieces of everything everybody said, honestly.
Yeah. I got 2% of my battery left.
Uh-oh.
2%. No.
You know, if you don't like any of the desktops, there's still the terminal.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or a window manager.
All right.
Yeah, for distro too, yeah.
And the kitty's now walking off. He's like, yep, I've had my food. I'm out of here now. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap up the live portion of the day. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. Once again, if you want to follow along on the other channel, we're talking about, is this the end? I'm going to drop the link in there again. So let's see. Makulu Linux, why does it have antivirus? I don't know, because it's bloated. What I'll say about that. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out, and we'll catch you guys later.
See ya.
Yep. Bye.
Don't get too
Bye, everyone.
See y'all later.
Yeah. Bye.